So in this context, though all of you know, so who is Dr. Prasanna Kumar, but many of you and for the viewers of this, they need to know what is Dr. Prasanna Kumar also. So a brief, this will not present him in his completeness, but still I'll try to introduce. So Dr. Prasanna Kumar, the Director for the Center for Policy Studies and Human Service for the Society. And he is also the Regional Director of the National Maritime Foundation, Visakhapatnam chapter. This concerns with the security and exploitation aspects of the coastal line. And as Regional Director, he is conducting number of seminars and making all the views converged on this and doing human service. And looking into his past accomplishments, he was Rector Andhra University in 95. He is the member UGC panel on political science during 93 and 2000. He was member Board of Management Andhra University 94-95, Professor of Politics from 1980 to 1995. Those students are definitely blessed people. Chairman Board of Studies 84-87 and 92-95. And he has joined the university faculty in 1960. Earlier to that, he started his career as lecturer in Avian College between 57 and 60. And he was President Andhra University Union in 1956 and 57 and Vice President National Union of Students of India. Today you cannot imagine that. And he was. And university debater, naturally we can guess, and member of the Andhra University College's cricket side that won the Trimurti Cup in 1995. In him, a great sportsman, a novelist, a orator, and his research experience is with where he has guided 25 other scholars for PhD very successfully. My feeling is, I don't know, it is very difficult in the arts subjects to guide so many PhD students. And 15 MPhil scholars have taken guidance under him. And is the founder of Editor Research Notes, Andhra University Research Bulletin, founder Editor Bulletin of the Center for Policy Studies. It's very regularly coming. And the books published by him are total 11, including a biography of Congress historian and Congress B. Pattabi Sitaramaya and P.V. Narasimha Rao, Years of Power, and 2 textbooks on politics and government of Andhra Pradesh, and on the international relations, and several articles in journals and newspapers, and articles on Jawaharlal Nehru, architect of Indian democracy, India's foreign policy from Nehru to Rajiv Gandhi. He has visited USA during 69 and 70 as Fulbright Fellow, and again the Georgia Atlantic University as visiting professor during the summer of 1994. He delivered endowments lectures at Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, Madras University, Chennai, and many other places. He is member of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Academic Council member, Prashant Nilayam, since 2000. He is member of Board of Studies of Sri Chandrasekharendra Viswa Mahavidyalaya, Kanchipuram, and is governing body of Avian College and many other institutions in Vizag, like Bharati Vidya Kendra, Vidya Bhavan Kendra, Vizag chapter, and Public Library Society. He is one of the pioneers in giving shape to today's public library at Vizag, proud asset of Visakhapatnam. He is member of Vizag former member LIC Journal Advisory Board. As a sports broadcaster and commentator, he is a regular commentator. He was on AR tennis and cricket broadcaster since 1964 with over 15 Davis Cup and Challenger tennis tournaments and several national and international cricket and badminton matches. So he has authored books also on cricket and tennis with foreword by Ramanathan Krishnan and Gundappa Viswanath, people like them. And he is a regular columnist for Indian Express for 20 years and is now writing a weekly column for Deccan Chronicle. I am very proud to present to you such a personality. Today he is going to talk on freedom struggle. And before inviting sir to the podium, I request Sri TVS Rao Garu, President Prajaspandana, to offer him a bouquet.
Esteemed friend and well-wisher, Sri Rangarajan, Dr. Vijay Kumar, both of them heading Samskritika Saha Samakhya and Aham Ahamika NSTL, who are responsible for this program being organized, and very distinguished friends, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is an honor to me to have been invited to present a series of lectures at the suggestion mainly and mostly of Sri Rangarajan. And once the idea is concretized, Dr. Vijay Kumar goes all out. He is responsible for the execution part of it. So my first duty is to thank both of them. Yes, as he rightly said, I hesitated for almost a year because I had some reservations about myself being able to do justice to this concept of lectures being recorded, preserved, and disseminated for the benefit of especially the younger generation. But the reason why I accepted is, in utmost humility, as a teacher, I always say teacher and doctor, they have responsibility towards society. When somebody goes to a teacher and says, you must speak, you must lecture, the teacher has to do his homework, prepare and do it. Similarly, when the doctor is sought out by the patient, please treat me, the doctor should not say, I am very busy, you go to so and so, etc. That is why the healer and the moulder, the doctor and the teacher are the most important persons in a society. It's a responsibility. Thank you very much. We analyze politics. Should we know something about politics? Should we know what is happening? 3 reasons are given by political scientists. Reason number 1, to understand the world around us better. What is this municipal corporation? Why are the roads like this? Local question. Reason number 2, what is going to happen to Andhra Pradesh after 31st? What is Sri Krishna Commission? We have to know something about it. Reason number 3, what is going to happen to India? All scams? Nothing good is happening. Reason number 4, what is going to happen to the world? Climate change, etc., etc. You have to understand the world around you better. That is why political analysis is essential, number 1. Second important reason, to make intelligent choices in life, analysis is needed. This is a very beautiful scientific theory propounded by Professor Robert Dahl. To make more intelligent choices, you will agree with me, all life is choice making and bargaining. The lesser among the evils. Suppose you have to vote. It's very wrong to say all the fellows are very bad, I'm not going to vote for anybody. That's not correct. You vote for somebody, the lesser evil, to make intelligent choices. Second important. Third is more important. To bring about change, big or small, anywhere. That is the purpose of politics. Can you bring about change? Yes. If you can't bring about change in society, please bring about change in 1 or 2 persons. This is where Einstein very famously said, environment today degradation is because of one simple, very simple human error, human shortcoming. Everybody thinks environment is everything except me. That is the reason for global environmental degradation according to Einstein. Everybody says environment is everything except me, my house, my doorstep. So that is why 3 important reasons if you can bring about change. Number 1, to understand the world around you better. Number 2, to make more intelligent choices. And number 3, bring about some change, big or small, anywhere. That is the purpose of political analysis. Amartya Sen, when he said today, you must analyze politics because you have to understand violence. Tomorrow, for instance, let us not bother about Andhra Pradesh, the bifurcation, trifurcation, or some such thing will happen, may not happen, that's a different thing. But let us try to understand why violence is taking place. Not necessarily violence in deed, but violence in thought, violence in expression. Such abusive words, why are they being used? This is why political analysis is needed. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the first important thing I shall restrict my time, my presentation to allotted. I have already digressed a bit because the reason why I am making this presentation I made in utmost humility. I said March to Freedom. When did this begin? Today is a very important day in India's history. Exactly this day, 1885, in Mumbai now, Bombay then, 72 persons met. And that was the birth of the Indian National Congress, founded by Alan Octavian Hume. Hume was an Englishman. Hume was an ICS officer retired. And Hume was such an intelligent man. You know what Hume said? In 1883, please remember, British might have been the enemies of India, but Englishmen were not. Many Englishmen were not. I shall give you a few examples. Hume made a beautiful speech at Calcutta University in 1883 and said, no, we cannot afford to ignore. There were agrarian rights. In fact, from London, that great man, Arthur Cotton, wrote a letter in 1877. Do something about famine problem in India. He wrote a letter to Indian leaders. So Englishmen were great friends. Agrarian rights were taking place. Hume said, we have to solve this problem. Therefore, let us all come together. He said, we will form an Indian National Congress. It is a safety valve, he said. Safety valve. Safety valve means, otherwise what happened in 1857 might also happen here. What happened in 1857? You call it Sepoy Mutiny, you call it First War of Independence, massacre in India, such a thing might happen. Please remember, Hume was a very intelligent Englishman. In 1776, United States was not there. There was an American War of Independence. Many people were killed. In 1789, there was the French Revolution. Thousands of people were killed. Killing was so difficult those days. Guns were not so very powerful. You know what they did? They invented a machine called guillotine. Heads were chopped off like onions those days. And that was called the guillotine. A violent revolution in France, a violent revolution in America, and Hume wanted people to come together to prevent violence. Ladies and gentlemen, something very beautiful which we today mistakenly call it sectarianism or anti-national sentiment, etc. Parsis were 4, Muslims were 4, Hindus were 4, Englishmen were 4. The first 20 years of Indian National Congress were dominated by this. That is why somebody said Indian National Congress. Even Gandhiji said, I am very happy that the idea of Indian National Congress was born in the brain of an Englishman. Not in the brain of an Indian. Now why? Gopal Krishna Gokhale mentions why it was such an advantage to have the Indian National. Gokhale said, no Indian could have started the Indian National Congress. If an Indian had come forward to start such a movement, there would have been uprising all over India. The officials in India would not have allowed the movement to come into existence. If the founder of the Congress had not been a great Englishman and a distinguished ex-official, such was the destructive power of the government, political agitation would have been suppressed. And therefore, it was good that Indian National Congress was founded by an Englishman, because otherwise, if a non-Englishman founded the Indian National Congress, the government and the police would have suppressed it. Whom was a respected Englishman. But many people give a twist to this. They did it because he was pro-British, which history research later proved that it was totally untrue. And Gandhi himself said, I am glad that this was born in the brain of an Englishman. So the Indian National Congress was born in 1885, and you know what Hume did? He called a Bengali, a Hindu, W.C. Banerjee, to come and preside over the meeting. The first meeting at Mumbai, Bombay, 1885, December 28th, 72 persons were there. Next year, next December, same 27, 28th, they called another meeting. This meeting was held at Calcutta, and the second meeting was presided over by a Parsi. A third meeting, Chennai, Madras, it was presided over by Muslim. Fourth meeting, an Englishman. So that way, Englishmen, Parsis, Englishmen, Muslims, Hindus, they all rotated the office among themselves, bringing people together. And it was at that time that Hume very rightly said, the Congress is founded to promote democracy and freedom among people. That was the beginning. So that is a very simple, humble beginning. Then came wonderful forces into the Congress. One was Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gokhale was a young man, a brilliant man. The other was Tilak. Tilak, an extremist, a radical, a fiery speaker, a staunch believer in Ganapati Navaratri Utsavam. Tilak made it very popular, Ganapati Utsavam. Today in Maharashtra, if Ganapati Utsavam is very popular, it is because of Tilak. These two persons came. Remember, when Tilak was there, Tilak and Gokhale were two different persons. How can you compare? Comparisons are always very dangerous, very harmful. A similar comparison was sought to be made. People said, who is greater, Tilak or Gokhale? Who was greater? Gokhale was a brilliant man, a learned man, Gandhi's mentor. Tilak was like Prakasham. So these two persons were compared. Gandhi was asked a question. Look at the genius of Mahatma Gandhi. Gokhale and Tilak are two great leaders. Tilak is like the Himalayan mountains, great, lofty, unapproachable. You can only see the Himalayan mountains, you can't climb those days. Gokhale is like the holy Ganga. Take a dip, you are purified. Both are great. Which is greater? Is Ganga greater or Himalayas greater? That is how Mahatma Gandhi sorted out the riddle, both of them. Now, when all these things were taking place, 2 or 3 interesting things also must be presented to you. The second part of 19th century, youngsters, you know more about American history, you talk more about China today, but we know very little about India. Second half of 19th century was a great century.
Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861, Vivekananda in 1863, and Mahatma Gandhi in 1869.
1870, 72, etc., etc., Prakasham, Aurobindo goes. An interesting story is, Prakasham was a boy of 12 years when cricket arrived in India. Cricket was becoming very popular. The first cricketer in Indian politics, or first Indian political leader to have played cricket was Tanguttur Prakasham. That credit comes to Andhra. There were 2 teams. He was a boy of 12 years, 2 teams. One team led by Prakasham. The other team was by somebody else. Buying stumps, no money. Cricket was a costly game. So they had no money, the boys, but they wanted to play cricket. Luckily the children of today, my grandsons and others, they don't have such a problem. But we had such a problem. We had a problem getting a tennis racket. All that they stole at midnight. When they were stealing this crop about to be sent to market, the police came and arrested them. So these fellows were taken to the police station. Prakasham was the first cricket player in Indian politics. He played in 1884. Marvelous reply. Don't earn money. I don't want money. I don't save money. I don't earn money. I don't want money. I don't save money. This is the philosophy of my life. And Prakasham, please remember, like Gandhi, did not leave a rupee in the bank for his children or a yard of space as property here. I'm mentioning this because many beautiful things happened. That was the time when Gurujar Apparo and others were rising. Many streams in Tamil Nadu also, Madras also, Renaissance was taking place. He calls it India's freedom struggle was possible because of a Renaissance that was taking place. Cultural efflorescence, as you call it. Tagore writing poetry. Gurujar Apparo here. And there in Tamil Nadu, protest against orthodoxy. Many beautiful things were happening. Many streams were converging. Philosophy. And another great man was there on the horizon, Aurobindo Ghosh. Aurobindo came from London, passed the ICS, did not join the government, was involved in a violent agitation, then withdrew, settled in Pondicherry, and in jail he had a vision of Lord Krishna. If Joan of Arc had heard heavenly voices, she heard the voice of God, Aurobindo had heavenly visions in jail. So he saw God in jail. Joan of Arc heard God's voice. The most outstanding of them all, the most inspiring of them all, my young friends, please go to Kanyakumari once, go to Vivekananda Kendra and see the glory and greatness of India. Swami Vivekananda arrived, the monk. And the monk who came from all the professors put together are not equal to this wandering monk from India, the great man. It was a stirring, inspiring. Believe me, the distance between the rock where there is a memorial today and the coast is nearly 3 kilometers. He swam across. There he did tapas for 3 days on the rock. He had a glorious vision of the Divine Mother where 3 oceans meet. The Bay of Bengal, the Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea. He had a marvelous vision. And he wanted to totally change the Indian society. Give me 50 good, strong men, I shall change the face of India. To Hindus, Vivekananda presented Vedanta as an instrument of spiritual and moral revolution. Hinduism is not this. This is not the Hinduism. Think of the last 600 or 700 years of degradation. When grown-up men, it is superstition, orthodoxy, when grown-up men have been discussing for years whether they should drink a glass of water with the right hand or the left hand. Gargle 5 or 6 times. Why, if this was so, it had not been mentioned by any of the old masters? They asked him. Swamiji said, because I was born for this and it was left for me to do so. You are all waiting for me. I do not believe in a God who cannot give us bread here, giving eternal bliss in heaven. That's not a God for me. A God who can't give me bread here cannot give me eternal bliss. Donor's name should never go with charity. The Indian tradition says that charity should be anonymous and silent. A beautiful metaphor. It is like the morning dew that falls unseen and unheard, but brings into blossom the fairest of flowers. It is like the morning dew. It is like the morning dew that falls unseen and unheard, but brings into blossom the fairest of flowers. The fairest of flowers come into blossom. This was Swami Vivekananda. Please remember, Indian freedom struggle, my point is not just a political freedom struggle. That was a time when whole of Andhra was transformed by one great Englishman, Sir Arthur Cotton, whose portrait I'm very glad Vijay Kumar, Ramakotagar and others, they have put it here. They see him every day. He's a god to us. The man who gave us water. He converted water into wealth. Converted water into wealth. Arthur Cotton. And he was God entered the pantheon of Hindu gods. Arthur Cotton is a man. He was the man. So the point is, there was a transformation taking place all over. Indian National Congress that was born, that's the burden of my presentation today. December 28th was not created by an Englishman for the rich and the elite classes. It was a Congress that had all. That is why the leftists also accepted it. A Congress for the poor, a Congress for every Indian, a Congress that was meant to inspire, awaken every Indian boy and girl, bring them together and convert people into a nation. And for that, please remember, poets, philosophers, saints, and engineer builders like Sir Arthur Cotton were responsible. Textile industry started going. Railways came into being in 1853 in India. And railway line, Vizag, first railway line, 1893. Unification of India began to take place. Because people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from north to, they travel by the train. So railways have become the biggest integration force of India.
So the Indian Railways became a major source of social and cultural integration.
So the Indian Railways have started bringing people together and closer. The idea of India was taking shape. That is the first part of my presentation.